Moving on to the next stage, I want to look at these kind of separated sections, the indentations. So this bit here and how I can bring this in. And if I look at my mesh, it doesn't necessarily suit that at the moment. Although the bevel is coming up to this quite nicely actually. So that does kind of work the way in which we've got it. I might just take this edge, make sure it's going all the way around, which is not, because of that, those edges being tied off to it. But let's just make sure that I get all of that, which I do. And then I might just be a little bit cheeky and pull this in just a smidge more, like so. So that I know that that edge is holding that particular one. Now these pieces are going to cause me a little bit of an issue, but it's not a massive problem. But what I'm going to do now is just go my multi-cut tool, and I'm just going to click above it and drag, hold down shift, and that's just going to slice through that whole thing. And the reason why I've done that is because it wouldn't give me an edge loop because of these two edges. So instead I'll just do that, and then I will merge those to center. So then I've got it kind of going in there, and then I can delete that edge for now, and then tie that off here. Whilst I'm working, I may want to just delete these temporarily. And I'll just delete half again. So we've got this in place. So now if I double click that edge, it will go all the way around because I haven't got those pins sort of affecting it. So I'll just come in, move that across. I just want to double check that everything's all right on the bottom, which it is. And then I'll come into the top. And now if I do try and do a multi-cut, it won't, because this is an N-gon. It's more than 4 sides, so it doesn't know where to go, which is why I've come in here with that tool, and I just hold down shift and slice through it that way, because then it will do it and it will be perfect. And then I can just come in and just realign that where it needs to be, like so. And then I'm going to take that whole loop like so, hit space and make sure that I've got it, which I do. Pardon me. And now I want to extrude in first of all. So I'm going to extrude and then do thickness in the negative. And I'm going to come down. I'm going to go a little bit over because I'm going to create that curvature afterwards. So I've got that separation. And then I want to come in and delete these points. Delete, like so. And then I want to get my faces back out, all selected, these ones, like so. And then what I'm going to do is actually separate these. I want this to be its own geometry. So I'm going to shift right click and extract, which now cuts that out completely. And then I'm going to double click on that to get that whole edge run. Or to be fair, actually, I'm going to take this one and this one. 1 and 2. All right, let's just select that and then deselect that. We've got both those rings selected, and I'm going to shift right click and combine those together. And then this will be what the radio dividers. I don't know what they're called, so they're going to be that. And then just going to press Ctrl+1 to isolate for a minute, because then we realize that we don't need, say, that edge. at all. We don't need this edge. So I can just strip this down a little bit because it's a separate piece of geometry now. So the geometry doesn't need to go through. All I want is the curvature on those edges. So that's fine. So I can delete that edge, that edge, that edge, and that edge. So even though we can be as high poly as we want, we still want to sort of work efficiently. We don't want unnecessary edges that we don't need. So next I'm going to select these edges and double click until I've got the whole run. Come into my modeling toolkit and I want to connect, middle mouse click and drag. So then I've got 2 in each one. Then I'm going to select that middle run on each of them, and I'm going to hit extrude. And then press Shift 1, Control 1, sorry. And then I'm going to extrude that using my thickness up to that run there. And then I'm going to select those again, Control 1, just to come in. And so if I hit 3 on the keyboard, you can see it's like that. It's not quite the effect that I want at the moment. So now what I'm going to do is take these edges, and I'm either going to delete them or bevel them. So I'm going to try and delete them first. And I think that should be fine. Control 1, hit 3 on the keyboard, and we come in. And I think they're logging okay. So what I might do is just D&V, move those up a little bit. Just push that out a bit to make it soften. And then there's an issue there, but that's because I didn't delete that face. Got 1. And those vertices should be like that. So yeah, you just got to be mindful. These mistakes are easy to do. So I want to delete that face. But then when I delete it, the vertices are remaining. So I'm just going to merge those off with my target weld tool. So Shift right click, select vertices first, Shift right click, merge vertices, then down to target weld, and then it just allows you to click and drag to wherever it is you want to merge. So now that is okay, but I'm aware that I've edited this one and now it differs from this one. So I'm going to take this, duplicate my faces, and it should, so if I just draw a box over those two, then Shift select that one to deselect, I've now got this, and then I'm just going to center my pivot. So I've just duplicated my edited one, D and V, and snap it to there, turn on this because I know that that will line up perfectly with that. And then I can just, I want to delete that one. So what I will do actually is just Shift right click and separate first, which will then select that one and Shift right click and separate. So then I can select these and then just that one to delete the dodgy one. And then I'll combine those back again together. Radio dividers, make sure. And then I will, delete my history on that. Take away that one there. And then Shift 1, bring everything back. 3 on the keyboard. So now that is matching nicely kind of what I wanted it to do. But hit 3 on the keyboard, and on that, we're starting to get that shape that's cutting in. We just need to kind of bevel some of those edges to make sure it's holding its shape. So what I will do is then take these edges that come all the way around. Make sure it's all the way to the bottom as well. And I'm going to give it a bevel with a low fraction. That's 0.1. And I'm actually going to add in a segment because it's slightly curved. But then on the outer one, I'm going to add an additional bevel without the chamfer with a low fraction to hold that edge before it softens. So page up a couple of times, turn off that. So now you kind of got that kind of hard edge before it starts to come down and soften into that. So now we've got the radio, and I think I've probably gone in a little bit too deep on that, but I'm not too fussed at this stage. Just an example. You can go in and fine tune it if you want, like so. And then if I really want, I can come in and tie that off. But if it's not affecting the surface, then it doesn't matter. So what I'll often do is I'll right click and go down to assign a favorite material and give it a blend. And then I can delete the history, go to my blend 1, and then I might change my specular color to say a pink. And then when I move around, it will highlight any artifacts. So with not having those points there, I'm not getting those artifacts. So I'm not worried. I'm not going to add those in. And equally there, I'm not getting those artifacts. So I'm not going to take them out. So I'm fine with that. My geometry is okay. I feel like that is the main body now complete. So I will again come in and delete my history for each transformations, Control D, -1 in the X. Shift select them all, combine, select that whole point there. Oop. And then, where are we? Merge and merge, which is that. And then I've got the other section here, which I need to do the same for. So move my pivot point so it matches that. D, Shift D, -1. Shift select. Or just select it all and then deselect the radio. Shift right click and combine vertices and merge 3260. So we know that that works. And then that's my main body of my radio complete, I think. So I'm happy with that. As we go around and just double check. Now I don't actually have a back shot. I've just realized I don't have a back panel, so I don't know if there's a panel there for the batteries or what. But I'm going to leave it as is for now, and I'll only show it from the front like we do in the renders. And next I'll move on to the grill and the other items and the buttons and that kind of thing.